Australians to rent or buy. And this would have an immediate impact on the housing shortage. The figures of foreign ownership are beyond staggering. And of course, if you buy it and hang on to it, it's big money. Vicky Campion makes the point. People in China have spent $7.4 billion on residential real estate in Australia between 2021 and the first 3 quarters of this year. $7.4 billion. Hong Kong, $1.5 billion. Vietnam, $900 million. Taiwan, $400 million. Singapore, $400 million. $19.2 billion in foreign investment in residential real estate approved in 32 months. As Vicky Campion splendidly argues, quote, nearly $20 billion in Australian dreams has been sold beyond the grasp of Australian families in nearly 3 years. The same families, as she said, who would defend the country from attack, work as doctors, nurses and school teachers, and pay the taxes to pay the NDIS and Centrelink, unquote. As a smart young bloke said to me the other day, politicians at election time tell the young people, vote for us, vote for us. How do you expect someone to vote for a politician when that young person knows they have no stake in their country? Or as Vicky Campion asks, how do you expect someone to love their nation if they can never own so much as a square metre of it? And we should forget this constant feel-good focus on public housing or social housing. It's a cop-out. People want to own their own home. They don't want something cheap handed to them by government. If you're a young person today trying to better yourself, going to uni, your parents are not rich, you run up a HECS debt. It's now called HELP, and both major parties index that to inflation. And billion-dollar rich banks want you to tip in a 20% deposit, which is $100,000 or more, and you've got to pay rent while all this is going on. Why don't the major political parties tell the truth? You'll never own a home under such a system. So why don't we have the courage of Singapore or Canada to say our homes should be for people who are living here? Surely it's the ultimate obscenity that there are empty homes and units all over Australia, yet many amongst us are sleeping in a car or a tent. It is a cliche, but home ownership is the Australian dream becoming the impossible dream. Foreign ownership of housing is another country owning our country. The talent pool I know in Canberra is very shallow. Is it asking too much that they get their heads around one simple point? Our people didn't die defending our country so that people in another country could keep an empty home not available to an Australian, just so that with escalating housing prices, they can make a quick quid. If Singapore can double stamp duty and Canada can stamp out overseas investors, then only one thing could stop Australian governments from following suit: a lack of courage coupled to a lack of knowledge.